Hey, what's going on, friends? Welcome back to the channel, Football Therapy, with me, your host, Jan. I hope you're doing well. I really do hope that, and welcome back to Chelsea News, of course. What is it? Well, it's a daily series here on this channel, Football Therapy, where I reflect on what's being said about Chelsea, giving you my opinion on it, more importantly asking for yours and turning up the aperture on my camera. Today we're discussing a potential sensational free transfer of Moukoko, the German striker, teenage striker, but not as young as Hendrik, older, and scoring goals. We could get him for free. We're going to talk about that. That's actually quite exciting, legitimately. Very, very good. Also, Todd Bowley, we're not moving from Stamford Bridge. We're staying here. Insert the clip of Wolf on Wall Street. I'm not leaving. Yes, of course, there was big fears that we might relocate. But no, the redevelopment will be of Stamford Bridge, and it will start, and it's going to be good. We'll talk about that. That'll be very, very exciting to learn about as well. And yeah, man, also the Chelsea players out in Abu Dhabi doing some gym work. There's been some really impressive transformations, most notably of Carney Chukwuemeka, now looking absolutely jacked, which is good because we have been weak, wet, and wussy in the midfield for far too long. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for dropping a like and subscribing. I do appreciate all the interactions, likes, comments, shares, subscriptions, anything you want to do to help a brother out. I do appreciate it. But let's hop into the content. So first of all, before we talk about the news, the headlines, the rumours, the transfers, all that kind of gear, I want to show you this picture because it's not just Carney Chukwuemeka, it's other players like Amari Hutchison, the youngsters that are beefing up in the gym a little bit. Now you think this might not be important, but it is important, especially in the Premier League, and if you're going to occupy midfield spaces, if you're not like a tricky winger that's wiggling about people, if you're going to stand in the middle of that pitch, you need to be jacked, or you need to be able to, hold your own and be strong. So look at this picture of Carney Chukwuemeka in the few months since he's joined Chelsea, like 4 months or something. Look at this transformation. Look, there's him signing for Chelsea outside Cobham, arms out. Granted, his arms are extended, so he won't be contracting the biceps. But dude has jacked up. He's tall, he's strong, but he's real strong now. He's vascular, man. I need to hit the gym. I am feeling soft and weak. But dude, maybe also it's probably doing him a lot of favours how he's sitting next to Jorginho. But still, fair play to him. I'm really buzzing on this kid. He's clearly been turned to a few times by the manager for central midfield places, but also he's been utilised in the front three. He does like to be offensive, but I think he could be a really, really useful player. Still only 19, of course. Carney Chukwuemeka could be a big, big part of Chelsea's future. Hopefully, of course, we've already got players in our ranks that we need to consider long term, like Carney and of course Cesare Casadei, who's also away training in Abu Dhabi. Who, like we spoke about recently, he scored a 40-yard worldie. He scored a perfect hat trick for the development squad, but he's largely in the development squad to develop himself, learn English, settle in. He's still a kid. They're teenagers, mate. Do you know what I mean? When I was a teenager, I was an absolute so-and-so. So for these guys to go to another country in, a really high-profile club, settle in, although saying that, Chukwuemeka, he looks really, really confident. So best of luck to him and all the other boys getting, jacked up in Abu Dhabi, getting ready to return to the Prem and eat it alive. Let's move on. So in a moment, we are going to talk about Yusufa Moukoko. I hope I'm saying that right, which is exciting. Young striker. But before that, I'm going to read an article on TalkSport. We don't often go into TalkSport to talk about the Chelsea Stamford Bridge redevelopment, the much needed one. Look, I love Stamford Bridge, so I haven't been in ruddy ages. I did spend a couple of years going quite often, but maybe I'll return soon. Yes, Stamford Bridge. What's it, 42,000 capacity? It's for Chelsea winning, multiple European Cups, always playing in the Champions League, being the biggest and best team in London, being located in the prime real estate of South West London. it's, you can understand that desire to redevelop, make bigger, and that was always a desire for potential buyers for Chelsea. Of course, Roman Abramovich wanted to do it, but his visa issues complicated stuff, and we all know what followed. So when Rain sold Chelsea, Rain Bank, the same geezers that are controlling the Man United sale, or the Liverpool sale, and one of the two, I can't remember, they said, look, if you buy Chelsea, contractually, you'll have to redevelop the stadium. And probably all the buyers were like, yeah, well, we were planning to anyway. We want to make them sweet peas. Excuse me. So let's read. Going nowhere, Chelsea owner Todd Boehly, quote, commits to massive Stamford Bridge redevelopment, end quote, ending fears of the Blues moving away. Chelsea will not be departing Stamford Bridge with owner Todd Boehly committing to the massive redevelopment. There were fears that the Blues could leave their historic homes, and when the future was long been mooted, their grounds capacity of just under 42,000 is the smallest of any Big Six side. New locations have been considered in the past, with reported last month how Boehly was weighing up the moves to a 60,000-seater stadium in Earls Court. Of course, we reported on that and reacted to that news here on the channel. Previous owner Abramovich also considered moving to Earls Court. His plans were abandoned in 2010 after the Hammersmith and Fulham Council rejected his proposal. But according to Sun Sport, Boehly has promised the stadium freeholder that he will be expanding Stamford Bridge as opposed to leaving. The Chelsea pitch owners, God bless him, the shareholder group that owns the ground's freehold, confirms Boehly's intentions. A statement read this: the new owners have committed to the redevelopment of the stadium, so it's anticipated the group's workload will increase as this project begins to take shape. Should the West London Giants, that was the end of the quote, should the West London Giants depart Stamford Bridge without the permission of the pitch owners, they would have to change their name, which we do not want. That is because Chelsea pitch owners own the naming rights of the Blues while also owning the freehold of the stadium with an 180-year lease. Good. Protecting Stamford Bridge. Very, very important indeed. Look, man, this needs to happen. I like Stamford Bridge, I really do. But if you want to move forwards, it's not just about winning trophies, making a good first team, building this team for tomorrow, as Todd Boehly and Clearlake want to do, building the feeder clubs, which we've talked about recently here on the channel, like the satellite clubs to feed in to evade issues with Brexit, etc., etc. It's basic stuff like having a bigger stadium to bring more people in, to bring better revenue on match day, which is still big. It's granted it's not the same as it's the TV rights that give the serious moolah, but it's still a lot of money. It's still a huge part of the revenue. And they might, I don't know if they'll do other events like, Tottenham do, like NFL or stuff like that. Maybe they will. Of course, we have got American owners. But also, it's like if it's just a better stadium, it will have a better aura. Now, that's a sort of an intangible. Sorry, guys, I got really blocked nose again. There's sort of an intangible. But also, if you look at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, it's built for atmosphere and acoustics, and there's nothing worse on a big game when it's quiet. Now, Chelsea aren't the worst for this, but Chelsea do, fall foul of this sometimes, having a bad atmosphere sometimes. But if you've got a stadium that's conducive to loud noises and shaped well for acoustics and creates a cauldron despite it being big with a lot of people, that can only be good for Chelsea Football Club. So it's a really, really positive thing. It won't be new camp 100,000, but to get an extra 20,000 in there, to shape it better, to make it so people funnel out easier, to make, look better, sound better. There's nothing wrong with that, if you ask me. So let me know what you think about the stadium redevelopment. I think it's good to stay there near Fulham on the King's Road, blah, 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 blah. Let me know what you think. Comment down below, and let's move on. All right, then. It's a big transfer story sensation time, and not just because January's creeping up on us ever so closely, which of course will bring loads of headlines with Chelsea trying to do business, whether it's selling Pulisic or Hakim Ziyech or bringing in a new midfielder, or who knows, even a forward. Obviously, to keep up with all that, make sure you turn on that bell when you subscribe to Chelsea. Yeah, subscribe to Chelsea if you want, but subscribe to Football Therapy. But we've been linked with this kid. 18-year-old Yusufa, I think. Yeah, I mean, I know Yusuf, but she's like Yusufa, so, feel free to correct my pronunciation down in the comments. Mukoko. Now, the secret scout on Twitter, who knows his onions with young talent. He knows, this guy is certainly a very good reputable source when it comes to the moving of young, talented players and where they're going. So he says, Chelsea have begun talks with Mukoko, his representatives, over the possibility of a move for a free transfer in the summer. Keen to sign the young German international on a 5+1 year deal, so it would be the same. It would be the same as Armando Broja, 6 years. Sources to the secret scout believe it's a more chance or realistic chance of securing him than Endrick. Well, of course, Chelsea have tried to sign Endrick, caught him, and pitched the project. We spoke about this on yesterday's video. That, he shares an agent with Vinicius Jr., who is his idol, and it's Real Madrid. Sort of relatively end of story, despite we thought we might have a chance by pitching, this Team of Tomorrow project to him. But the thing is, Endrick's only 16, and Endrick's wouldn't have come to us until he was 18. Mukoko is 18, and he's very good. And he does fit in with this idea of the Team of Tomorrow thing, like the aforementioned Cassidays, your Chukwuemekas, your, Arsene Zakari, and all these teenagers we're trying to sign. He's 18 as well, but he's 18, but he's playing in the Bundesliga for Dortmund. And he's doing well, bro. He's outperforming his XG by like a goal and his expected assists by over 2 assists. He's got 9 goal involvements. 9 goal involvements in, I think, the league for Borussia Dortmund. Well, in 7. Okay, so he's got 9 goal involvements in 760 minutes. That's 6 goals and 3 assists in 767 minutes. So he's getting so that's 9 and 7.5 or whatever. It's way more than a goal involvement per game at the highest level in Germany as a guy who's only just turned 18. Chelsea really, really like the look of him. Sign him on a 6-year deal. Again, exciting stuff. And this, if we were still being managed by Mourinho, and to a degree, Thomas Tuchel, you'd be like, oh, okay, cool. Where's he going to go in the Championship? But he's playing for Dortmund and doing really, really well for Dortmund. So why not get excited about this? Do you know what I mean? You've got Potter who's who's bringing on Carney Chukwuemeka when you need to do something. When he's utilising him as a tool. When he's in times of need, he will turn to youngsters. He will turn to teenagers. And while he's on this Abu Dhabi camp with all these kids, getting their opportunity to show him that they're good to go, he's probably thinking, all right, let's turn to youth. Maybe let's not play Jorginho in a couple of games. Maybe let's play Carney. And then maybe let's play, Cesare Casse, stick him on the bench. We're still waiting to see Amari Hutchinson, who, by the way, has clearly impressed Graham Potter. Another teenager who I forget to mention in all those things. Another teenage winger. You could have a front three. Maybe if we do sign Arsene Zakari in the January window, you could have a front three of Amari Hutchinson, or next summer, this kid up front, Arsene Zakarian on the left or behind feeding. You could have all these teenagers. He might turn to them and think, you know what? Aubameyang isn't the one for me. I need this high-octane explosivity of these kids, and, Broja looks like the elder statesman there at 21 years old. But look, I'm not saying, we're just going to save our season with kids. No, but the thing is, building a team of these youngsters now, not buying in mercenaries when they're mid-late 20s or indeed early 30s, bringing them together and say, look, you're all really talented kids. And I'm going to give you a chance to learn each other, to play together. Granted, not coming up through the academy levels like Tamori, Tammy, Mount, James, which is great. But no, we want a bit of this. We want a bit of that. We're going to get this striker from Germany. We're going to get this, attacking midfielder that plays like De Bruyne from Russia. We're going to get these come together, spend a few years growing together and make a super team. Without having to pay silly money to bring all these players in, you don't even know if they're going to have any chemistry together. So, look, comment down below. Let me know what you think of Mukoko. If you've watched him, all I've literally done is looked at his scouting report and his numbers, and it's pretty darn impressive. A lot of people are very excited on Twitter. I know I was looking at, Alex Goldberg talking about it. He'd been really jacked to sign him previously, but he didn't think it was a possibility. These people coming together, these youngsters coming together, is a really, really exciting thing, essentially. And for once, we've got a plan. For once in Chelsea's recent history, we've got a long-term plan. A new stadium coming, bringing in, collecting appropriate young talent. And again, this isn't just throwing, stuff at the wall and hoping it sticks. This is a team, a newly assembled team of Chelsea recruitment specialists that are saying, yeah, let's do this. Get these guys, let's build it together. Let's start this exciting project, this well-funded project. Build these excellent teams. Purchase these, these satellite clubs, and then redevelop Stamford Bridge. Granted, it's been frustrating on the pitch, but hopefully this Abu Dhabi the training camp, and these fringe players getting a look in will be a good thing for us. And when we return and play Bournemouth, and indeed when we play Villa this weekend, we could have some positives to reflect on. Let me know what you think. Comment down below. I was going to put that graphic up there. Comment down below. Please do consider dropping a like and subbing. And I look forward to seeing you guys very soon, hopefully tomorrow on the next video. So take care of yourselves. Peace.